You're real quiet over there. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about death. Oh, well, that's a good one. Say more about that. This whole virus thing going around, I've been thinking about death a lot. That sounds scary. Say more. Oh, I guess I'm just afraid of dying. That's very interesting. Because you're talking about death and then you're talking about dying, and those are two different things. That's a good point, Squirrel. Tell me more about that. I'm so glad you asked. This is sort of my wheelhouse. Let me start by asking you a question. What scares you about dying? I don't know, Squirrel. I guess I'm thinking about, dying in a hospital where there's no ventilators, where I'm alone, and that just sounds terrible, and it freaks me out. Okay, yeah, I mean, that sounds totally reasonable. Now tell me about death. I don't know as much about death. I mean, who's to say what's going to happen? Yeah, maybe I'm less worried about that. Okay, so what I'm hearing is you're not so afraid about actually being dead. You have more of a concern of like the physical act of dying, which might include suffering and loneliness. Is that accurate? Yeah, I think you've nailed it, Squirrel. Okay, so that's kind of a good place to start here. So first of all, both death and suffering are inevitable and largely out of your control. And it's also, perfectly natural to feel alarm and anger and anxiety about things you can't control, like death. So it's an opportunity for compassion for you and for all beings. Thank you, Squirrel. Yeah, that kind of eases my anxiety a little bit. Yeah, and I really think it's worth being mindful about this, about the difference between death and dying. So you can be afraid of dying, but maybe death's not so bad. I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole on this. It depends on your belief system and your culture, but I think it's very unlikely that death itself is painful or suffering. You're looking a little stressed. Why don't you rub my fuzzy tail? Here you go. How's that? Is that better? Is that good? Okay. Wow. Yeah, I kind of feel better now, Squirrel. Thanks for that perspective. Yeah, and give yourself permission to let go of things that you can't control or that are inevitable, like death. And don't waste energy on that. If you can. Does that make sense?